Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is for BpharmUpGeneticsrevision. Welcome. BpharmGenetics. Good. Thank you so much. Just tell me in the chats if you are there. The regular September and my weekend September in the chat. Songkok, thank you so much. I can see you here. Thank you so much. Just tell me in the chats. I'm waiting for the regulars. I had to tell them to be on board as well. Thank you. Adija, yes, yes. Adija, is it regular BpharmUp? Adija? Adija, just tell me BpharmUp regular so that I can know. Let me take this one off. It's taking a lot of light. Adija Haji, oh yes, yes, Adija, I can remember you. Please tell the others to log in. Adija, just inform others so that we can start, because we are doing the final one. We are not going to do any other because the timetable for exams is a bit tricky. The exam is starting on 10th, which is almost. So we need time for revision. If today we have the revision, then you'll have time to revise on your own before the exam starts. So I can see we are still 4. Good, we are 7. Thank you so much. Just tell me in the chats hi. You just say hi as we proceed. We won't start until 9:20. We'll give 5 minutes for people to log in and saying hi, and you say the regular ones or my visitors also, weekend, we are also represented. Nelias Njeri, yes, thank you so much, Jerry. Yes, regular. You just tell me weekend, regular, but today's platform is purely for BpharmUp. The one on Wednesday was for MBCHB, but I said the regulars could join, but today is specifically for the BpharmUp. We would like to prepare for the exams. We are not going to have another revision session so that we can have time to prepare for exams. Just come on board, tell me. Nelias Jerry, okay, thank you. I can see. We are at 5. Adija, did the class rep tell you to come today on board? Did he communicate? Because I did communicate as well on the email. Or maybe some were there the other day. If they were there, then it's also okay. If they got something, for the ones who are not there, they can still log in. We are still at 7. So I'm waiting for people to log in, maybe until 9:20. Who is this? Miguel. What is married? Who is married? We are not talking about marriage here. No, we are not talking about marriage. Maybe another platform. We are revising genetics. Maybe applications of marriage can come in genetics, but not here. Miguel? You are wondering. No, don't wonder. Just log out. If it doesn't go with whatever you expected, it's 9 p.m., go to bed. No, don't comment nonsense, please. But I had put inactive. Who is this who is commenting, please? I need people to log in. So we are at 2. I think the ones who are already there. Oh, good. Hadija, thank you so much. And are they logging in? Just check with Ricky. Tell Ricky Tell Ricky that we should log in, and then we can start. Adija, please tell Ricky. Just ignore those other ones which don't relate to whatever we are doing. But we are waiting for people to log in. I'll give them time. Philip, are you there? And the other 10, I might not know each and every person's name, but kindly just remind me and tell me we are in. So I'm giving them time. I don't want to start if the other weekends are not there. So we can just log in. I need to start. Miguel and Fazila, please. We are here to discuss genetics. So maybe the other questions can come later, but for now, we are here to discuss with the students. So I think most of them came the other time. They logged in. Thank you so much, Fazila. Thank you. So that very time when we were discussing genetics with MBCHB, I think some of the pharmacy were there regular. But if you are not there, then you can log in. Or if you are there, but then there is something you didn't get, because it's the same questions, which I'm going to do. So if you didn't get it right, then it is still okay. Let us join, because we are having our card, which will be population genetics. So maybe by looking at the sample questions, you'll be able to understand something, and you can apply it for the cut too. But for now, we are still waiting. Thank you so much, Adija. Please just tell Ricky, because I'm going to start. But even the ones, my weekend ones, I don't see, because they should be 15. Yes. I'm looking at 15 because, Philip, can you tell me if you're there? I need to confirm, please. And especially my weekend students, BpharmUp, kindly. I want all the 15 on board so that we can revise the cut paper for the regular, which we shared. The cut paper which we shared. So I need to revise it because there's some questions there. I don't know whether I need to start. Adija, I'll wait for the feedback from your end, please, because I need to start. They can join later, no problem. But they need to know we won't have any other revision. We won't have any other. Please, the weekend group BpharmUp, just tell me, apart from Songok, who has logged in again? Because I'm looking forward to all the 15. If you are all there, the 15, I'm going to start. So you have to assure me that you are there. Kindly, the weekend, because I can read the chart. So just tell me you are all there, the 15, then I'll start. Whether you are sharing the channel with another person, but it's okay. I'll have to start when all the weekend are there, because I'm assuming the regulars joined. You know, that day there were many people. There were many students. Oh, 5 more minutes, please. It's okay. As much as you can communicate, I'll know. John Gure, good. Thank you so much. Kindly, I need the 2022 September more than any other, because I'm seeing the rate of the regulars is slow, because it means maybe some joined, but we still give time. I'll give 5 minutes so we can start by 9:30, but it's okay. Thank you so much. Just tell me that we are there. So by 9:30 we shall start. We are still giving people time to log in. Just go to the channel. Time for who? Miguel, please, can you leave? Can you leave, please? Revising. Kindly, just leave. Adija, I've informed the class rep, just waiting for a response. Thank you so much. So just tell Ricky, thank you for that. Just tell Ricky that you're already live. Whatever response, don't worry. We shall start together with you at 9:30. Somebody has just said we give them more minutes, so we are giving them more minutes. And then I'm going to start. Adija, I think you can, I hope you can access the questions. I'll send them to another email again. So I'm giving 5 minutes and then I'll start. So we can still wait, still okay. I'm waiting for Philip. Philip, are you there? You are the one to tell me whether all the 2022 are there. Philip? Or Ngure can tell me? Ngure, you can tell me if the 2022, all of you are there. Then I can proceed. Let us just log in. Thank you so much. Let's log in. We can log in. And then you'll open the questions, maybe on your phone or your laptop. I'll be able to follow each of those from question 1 to the last number. So that's why I sent it. If I send the question, then everyone will be able to see. So when I read question 1, it tallies whatever you have. Oh, Songkok. No, just tell them they should log in because that's what we agreed yesterday. So they should follow because time is very, what? Time is money. Time is what? We shouldn't waste any time because they're already aware. You know, if somebody is not aware, that's another thing. Good. Thank you so much, Adija. We just wait for the 2022, and I can see people are coming in, and even 2023 regular. So we are waiting for both regular 2022, 2023, sorry, and weekend 2022. We are at 9. I'm almost starting, but I want to start if the 2022 are there, assuming that my 2023 September regular joined the BCHB on Thursday. I'm assuming, but Adija is there. Adija, you're welcome. You can stay with us and listen what we need to discuss. And the good thing, the one in YouTube is going to be saved. So automatically it will save. If you go to the channel afterwards, you'll be able to follow. It can help much in revision as well. Good. It's a good number. We are at 11. I've sent a link. Thank you. Oh, is there a link which I should be sending? Because me, I thought people can automatically log in. I don't know how the students do it, but I always see them. They are coming. So I need to send a link. Okay. Thank you so much, Gure. If they'll join shortly, that's okay. Thank you so much. Kiprop is also saying, Philip joining now. Thank you so much. So I need the 2022. When you're ready at 15, I'll assume the 2022 are there. Then I'll start. But you need to have a pen and a paper because I'll mention how the Punnett square should look like, the gametes, the crosses, the F1s. So if you had, because I also have a paper and a pen where I can, whenever I talk, I can know the F1s, the F2s. Yeah. So let's keep on joining. I think the people also have challenges with their network, internet. Yes. No problem. It shall be well. Everything has challenges. If the network is not stable, the internet connection is not stable, it's still okay. You just come in and go as long as you get something. Joseph Mbutu said hi. Ah, yes, I can remember Mbutu. Hi too. Please, 2022, we need to be at 15. I'm looking at 15, but I'm almost starting. So you have to tell me I should start. When I start, they'll come in 12. So thank you for joining. We are going to revise the genetics, the questions. If you see them anywhere, it could be cut, or it could be main exam, or even after exam, how you need to tackle them whenever you see them. So that's why I sent that Word document, which had questions, and I'm going to read it from my laptop and explain what I expect of you. But we are here to make it work. That's why we are talking about biochemistry simplified. We are trying to make it simple. As much as many people say, oh no, biochem is difficult, but no. I always say it's the attitude. You have to remove the negative energy and put it the positive one, and it shall be well. So I separated these questions into sections. So you'll know this question relates to this topic, and you'll be able to remember which slide, which lecture, if you look at the lecture slides. But then at this point, the first one says, which is generally at the introduction of the chromosomes. You know, we are introducing chromosomes, we introduce genes, and then now we dive into Mendelian genetics. And when we dive into Mendelian genetics, we do the crosses, the monohybrid, the dihybrid, the incomplete dominance, the codominance, and then we go to another step where we look at the Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. And then for lecture 6, you try to locate the genes which are responsible for the traits. And then lastly, lecture 7 and 8 talks about population genetics. So those are the sections which we do in genetics. But now the first question says, discuss classification of chromosomes based on, good, Philip, I was waiting for you. Now I've seen you. So you are the one who has to confirm to me that we are 15, the 2022. Everyone is here. Then my regular 2023, they can join, or possibly they already joined the one on Thursday, but that already confirms that you are here. So welcome. And the other ones who are still joining, welcomes. I welcome you all. Now, on my question number 1, it is the one which reads 2 there. I think numbering was a problem. Discuss classification of chromosomes based on the position of the centromere. This one, if you could remember, the notes which we wrote the other time, or whatever we discussed the other time, was we had the submetacentric, we had the metacentric, we had the acrocentric, and we had the telocentric. So based on the position of the centromere, you know, it will score you 10 marks because each one of them I'm going to give half-half. So if you talk about, good, thank you so much. So we have majority. Together with Adija, we can proceed. Now, if you talk about metacentric, you have to mention that the centromere is at the center, meaning the arms are equal. The P and Q arm are equal. That's another point. Another point here is you will say it is V-shape during anaphase. It will show a V-shape. Then draw it. And when you're drawing it, make the arms to look equal. So first, you introduce the metacentric. You have to introduce the metacentric. That's half a mark. And then explain the position of the centromere when you look at the metacentric. And then you have to talk about the arms. And then you have to talk about its shape at the time of anaphase. And then lastly, draw it. Then you go to submetacentric. Submetacentric, from the word sub, it says it's a bit above the central. Above the central. Meaning one arm is a bit longer than the other. It's like at 40%, and then the other one is 60. So you have to clearly show, because the mistakes which the students do at the time they're drawing, they're in a hurry until it doesn't reflect much of the definition of the type of chromosome. So if you talk about submetacentric, it's slightly above the middle. And then you talk about it is L shape or J shape during anaphase, then draw it. It will award you marks. So you have to talk about the lengths of the arms, the position of the centromere, the shape during anaphase, and lastly, draw. Then we have acrocentric. Acrocentric, you'll say the centromere is towards. The word towards really means a lot. It is towards the end. Towards. It is towards the end. Don't say it is to the end. No, that is wrong. Towards the end. Such that they're saying one arm is present, but it is too small until it is difficult even to see it. One arm is present, the P, it is present there, but it's difficult to see it. It is present. So you draw something, it's like 20% of the P can be seen. The other 80 is the Q arm. And then it is rod shape. Then draw. You'll get marks. Then lastly is telocentric. Don't say that it is found at the telomeres. No. You can't define something using the same word. It is found to the end. The centromere is located to the end. And then you say one of the arm is not present, it's not even visible. It's also rod-shaped during anaphase. So talking about the arms, defining the position of the centromere and drawing it adds a lot of weight. And that is what I look at. The other one says, differentiate between submetacentric and metacentric chromosomes. So we've defined them. The submetacentric was the one which is above the median or the center, above the center. And then metacentric was the centromere is at the center. So you talk about the arms as well. So that one you are just writing short notes. You don't write much. The other one is submetacentric and telocentric. Telocentric, the centromere was found to the end. Submetacentric, it was slightly above the center. So just by mentioning the position of the centromere, the shape at anaphase, and drawing, that's okay. Genes, we are talking about any 7 classification, any 7 genes. So discuss any 7 genes. You define them. You have pleiotropic, you have lethal, you have multiple genes, we have basic genes. So just define them. You'll get marks. Those ones are easy and direct. So let's dive into Mendelian genetics. The question which reads question number 6 says, in border collies, if you have a question, put it there. I'll be able to see. Please. Don't mind and don't keep quiet. Don't keep quiet, please. Just put it there in the charts. I'll be able to read and clarify. We are together. Number 6, from whatever you have. In border collies, that is a breed of dogs, a black coat is dominant to red coat. Before you can go far in any of Mendelian statement, the way I can put it, you see that one start with the trait. Write for me up there. Trait. Coat color. Trait. Coat color. Write it clearly. Trait. coat color. I'm even revising. I'm already revising the cut, which my students, regular student, did. A bit of the small issues which were bringing marks down. That is why I'm stressing on this. And that's why I'm saying we are not going to have another platform to revise. So if you can still tell them to log in, for the ones who didn't get it last time on Thursday, they can still log in so that they can get it right. So I want the trait up there clearly. Statement number 6 says, border collies. I've asked the students to join live. Thank you so much, Santa. Please keep on telling them, because we need to stress on some point so that we don't lose marks, so that we can know how to answer. Thank you so much for the concern. Now, we are at number 6. I'm saying right up there, coat color. Start with the trait, because we have to explain ourselves well what we are talking about. Some students are not even writing the trait. They are not writing their alleles. They go straight to the Punnett square. So you wonder what the student is talking about. I could be fair in the card by marking the Punnett square. I can give you 1.5 instead of giving you a 0. Because if you don't give a trait up there and you don't even give the alleles, then it means there is nothing we are talking about. Because the traits and the alleles will guide us and we'll know what we need to put where. So back to the question. Border collies, black coat, capital B. It means after writing coat color, down there write alleles. And that's why I said we should have a pen and a book or a paper. Just as you are going to go through the video later, but you had your own writing, you'll be able to get it faster. So they are saying capital B. Remember, for monohybrid cross, use the same letter. I always specify, let us use letter S, let us use letter T for uniformity. But they are saying capital B alleles. The dominant one has capital. Now, the mistake some students were making were, after writing B very well, they don't even write now the trait, the allele, which is the dominant allele, which was responsible for the black coat or whatever, which color. They write for me dominant, well, dominant allele. It doesn't make sense. I just cancel. I don't mark anything there. Because if you are in class, the capital B already tells me that is the dominant allele. You just write black coat. We are talking about coat color now. We said the alternate forms of the genes were the alleles. So we need to have a dominant and a recessive one. So it means the small b is for which color? Let's see. Black male has, no. Black coat is capital B, is dominant over red coat. Dominant over. It means small b is red. That point I already give mark for the trait. A half. It's not much. Alleles, capital B, half. Small b, half. So if you didn't write any of those, you don't get any mark. Let's proceed with the story. A breeder has a black male. A breeder has a black male that has won numerous awards. You know, by the law of Mendel, it means, the law of dominance, it means it is black of heterozygous or black of homozygous dominant. Who is this? Say their names. How come they don't know that? I don't know what we are talking about, but we are revising. Don't distract. If you're in a wrong platform, just log out, please. Now, we are saying that capital B, alleles, small b. Capital B, don't write dominant allele. Write black coat. Recessive allele, don't write recessive. Write red coat. That's okay. Then we are saying that the breeder says the dog with the black coat has won awards. The breeder would like to use the dog for breeding if, look at that condition, if he is purebred or capital B, capital B. So it has come clear. Pure breeds, pure, go to the Punnett square. You already explained yourself. Let everyone understand whatever you are working on. Trait, alleles. Now we've understood the story. We need pure breed. The dog, please, up there, put for me the male. You know the sign of a male? That's killer, and then there is a something looks more like, is it an arrow or what? Because for the female, looks more like a cross. I told you at the back of my house, you can see that is a whiteboard marker. A whiteboard, not a whiteboard marker, a whiteboard. But writing on it, it won't be clear until I get a very good camera to capture. So I would have written it on the board, but we improve, pole pole. I'll improve next time. But it needs, if I could have been writing on the board, it could show. But now what I'm saying here is, next you go to the Punnett square. In the Punnett square, please, write for me up there. You can even write male and female in words if you can confuse the signs. But go straight and put a male up there. We always give male the top, and then the females come this side, just as we do in class, the females. The story says that the breeder has that black male who has won awards. So the breeder want to crossbreed it with pure breeds. It means the female has to be homozygous recessive. So if the woman is homozygous recessive, or the female dog is homozygous recessive, the male dog is homozygous dominant, it means the F1s will be hybrids. Or the F1s, all of them with the heterozygous. That's why I said we need to have a pen and a paper so that it tallies with whatever I'm writing. We will have capital B, capital B, capital B, capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, capital B, small b, capital B, small b. So the F1s, the outcome of the crosses of the parental generations, we get first filial generations. They'll be all heterozygous, meaning their genotypes will be all alike. Phenotypically, they will appear black. So the story still says, the breeder would like to use the dog for breeding if he is purebred. You already given me pure breeds, capital B, small b. You've crossed them. Still, the law of segregation, the law of dominance will apply. Both law of segregation and the law of dominance will apply. We will have all heterozygous. Then they're saying, to learn this information, she test crosses him with a red female. Test cross. Remember, we said a test cross can be done by homozygous recessive or homozygous dominant, but then from the hybrids, because all of them are heterozygous. So it means the second Punnett square, you will have heterozygous and homozygous recessive, such that you get half heterozygous, half homozygous recessive. So they're asking that draw a Punnett square for F1 and F2, which we've drawn already, and state the genotype and phenotype of F1 and F2 generations. The genotypes of F1 and F2, you know what to do. Do 2, capital B, small b, 2, small b, small b. Don't write heterozygous in words. Don't write for me homozygous dominant in words. The genotypes have to show the way they are. And the genotypes are always 3. It's either homozygous dominant, heterozygous or homozygous recessive. But in this case, if you do a test cross using the homozygous recessive, you will have 50-50. 50 heterozygous, 50 homozygous recessive. So what I have to repeat here is, first, do the trait up there. We'll know what you're working on. Secondly, alleles, the alternate forms of the gene, the traits, it should be contrasting. When we are defining genetics, we talk about variability. If we have an allele which stands for the dominant and the other one for recessive, when you mix both of them, heterozygosity, that is when variation comes in. So at this point, we are talking about mention the alleles clearly, go to the Punnett square, put the male there, put the female somewhere, generate the genotypes. Follow the questions now. Question number 7. We are still on Mendelian genetics, specifically the monohybrid cross. A pea plant, I think this one was in the cart. I did it in the cart, I think. A pea plant is the F1 offspring. And this is also another point where the students missed some marks, because they did not even give me the 2 Punnett squares. They assume and they went straight and do the Punnett square for the F2s. No, I need the Punnett square for pure breeds. Remember, it is a product from the parental generation. It comes there. After the parental generation is one of the products, one of the offsprings of F1. So you have to show me the 2 Punnett squares. We are saying a pea plant is the F1 offspring of a true breeding plant with purple flowers and a true breeding plant with white flowers. Up there, state flower color. Please start with the trait. Flower color. Then alleles. And for P, the students are writing small letter P until you wonder, how much do we pay to write the capital P, the P to look like this one is the dominant? You know, P, C, and S always is confusing. If you don't make it huge, I will not know that is capital. If you make them of the same size, and sometimes somebody talks about a carrier, you know, I just round it. Because if you don't make it clear that one is capital and one is small letter, it becomes difficult in the case of carriers. Even in the case of homozygous dominant, I might assume that the statement was not talking about the homozygous dominant, because you make them too small until I can't differentiate between the 2 alleles. Now, F1 offspring, true breeding plant with purple flowers. We are talking about flower color. That is a trait. Go to the alleles. Put capital P. Purple is the dominant one. Yes, you can see they are saying white flower is recessive. So do capital P, small p. Capital P, put purple color. Small p, put white color. You've already won the 3 marks. The 1.5 marks, sorry. Go to the Punnett square. Put up there male, side female. Then they're saying pure breeds. We are on the first Punnett square. Put the homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive. Still, it's going to bring heterozygotes or hybrids. Just whatever we did the other one. Why are we doing the test cross for question 6? Which one? But that is what the statement says. A test cross is always to determine the unknown genotypes. That is what we taught in class. So you can do a test cross for using the homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive. So it has to be specified. So this question says a test cross. Did it not say she test crosses? User 24. Did you see she test crosses. We are not just doing because we are doing, but the question says she does a test cross. You know, when a test cross is done, the point here is the dog itself has won awards. We want the breed, we want the seed. That is the word. We want the seed to appear in the coming generations. We don't want the seed to be eliminated. Just as we are talking about the fitness value, you know, Darwin also applies in genetics. We want the genotype to have a fitness value of 1 for it to be represented in the coming generations, even in the 10th generation. We still have a dog which has the genotype of the owner who was winning awards. See, they talk about black one. You know, it was pure breeds. And for the pure breeds, now we had heterozygous. But now, as you proceed, you still got 50-50. We have the initial genotype of the mother. See, the father alikuwa homozygous dominant, but still the F1s have 50-50. So the test cross will still keep the breed going. And we are talking about variability. We are talking about Dihybrid. The equilibrium should represent all the genotypes. That is what Dihybrid says. All the genotypes should be represented. None should be eliminated with a homozygous recessive, which doesn't win awards. So they have to interact with the other one who win awards. So as much as it's heterozygous, but the phenotype, the law of dominance states, the dominant one will suppress the recessive allele and they will still appear black. So we have to keep the legacy. The genotypes have to be having a fitness value of 1. They have to be represented in the coming generation of the generations, the generations. User 24, I was trying to answer you. So we were still at question number 7, where we are saying that from the pure, it comes from the pure breeds. So what you do in this case for the students whom I marked their cards, I haven't returned because I was still marking. The mistake which the students were doing, you only give me, not all of them, there are quite a number who would do the 2 Punnett squares. I need a Punnett square for the pure breeds, capital P, small p. By chance, you know, all of them were 100% hybrids. So it is a product. You have to show where it came from. It is a product of the pure breeding parents. So we had all heterozygous. And then this one used to be one of them. A pea plant is the F1 offspring of true. You'll find capital P, small p. Then they are saying still that this plant is crossed with one that has white flowers, recessive. Now you come to the second Punnett square, where we have capital P, small p. We'll have 50-50. 50 heterozygous, 50 homozygous recessive. I hope you have our paper and a pen. So what is the question? How many of the plants in the next generation will have white colors? 50% of them. 2 out of 4 will have white colors. Because we said homozygous recessive will only be, they will only express, the phenotype will show only if it is homozygous recessive state. In heterozygous, they are going to show a phenotype which represents the dominant allele, which was for purple. So we are looking at the homozygous recessive. The phenotype will show white. So the white will be 2 out of 4. Question number 8. Ability to curl your tongue up, meaning tongue rolling. This was also in the cat, but this was easy. But then what I was wondering, somebody goes straight and tell me the genotypes of the mother, of the child, of the father. But up there, you don't mention the trait. You don't mention the... Do you know you are doing guesswork? I was just fair because you use your biro. I will give maybe 1 mark. But in the main exam, if you don't explain the trait, you don't explain the alleles, my friend, I'll just cancel. Even after the revisions, and then somebody still repeats the same, I'm not going to give a mark. Because it doesn't make sense. We were talking about the genes, the genotypes, telling much about a phenotype when we were defining. So at the time when somebody says that these are the genotypes, some people are not even drawing the Punnett square. And that seems to be guesswork, because now when I was collecting the papers, somebody can look at the neighbor and they ask, eh? In fact, those people, I was not giving any mark. For somebody who didn't even give me a Punnett square, didn't even talk about alleles, but you go straight and give me the genotypes, no, that is guesswork. It doesn't work like that. We have to answer questions like scientists, like pharmacists, like bachelors. Somebody from nowhere can follow your work and get what you are talking about. So let's go back. Ability to curl your tongue up on the sides, which is known as tongue rolling. I don't know whether I can do it. I can. Yes. Tongue rolling. Go up there and write the trait. Tongue rolling. It is your day, 2 hours. Write well and be sure when you leave exam, I've done it. I've done it and I know I've done it. And then you'll be satisfied with yourself. Up there, trait. Tongue rolling. After writing the trait, go next step. Alleles. Which are the alternate form of the genes of this trait you are describing? Can some people roll their tongue? Some can, some cannot. The ones who can are the dominant one. Put capital T. Say, can roll their tongue or tongue rolling. The other one, you can say, not tongue rolling. It's okay. I'll know the difference. It doesn't matter which type of English you use. But put the alleles clearly. I'll know the recessive allele, they cannot roll. The dominant allele, they can. You can even say it can roll, cannot roll. Tongue. Roll what? Can roll tongue. Cannot roll tongue. Simple. You shall have gotten marks. Do a Punnett square. Put male, put female. Then let's go back to the question. It says T for tongue rolling is dominant to not being able to roll your tongue. Already that one we've covered in the alleles. The next story says a woman who can roll her tongue. A woman who can roll her tongue. It means the woman is either homozygous dominant or heterozygous. We are still continuing the story. Marries a man who cannot. Go straight there and put small t for the man. Don't wait for anything. The story still comes. Their first child has his father's genotype. Now tell me, the woman cannot be homozygous dominant. Because remember, the law of segregation says at the point of gamete formation, the male contributes an allele, the female contributes an allele. It means the small t, correct. Abdi Wadud says it is heterozygous. Because the small t has to come from the father. So let us discard the homozygous dominant for the mother. Good. Let us go to the Punnett square. Put the woman, capital T, small t. The man automatically picks small t. Do the cross. Capital T, small t, capital T, small t, small t, small t. Go back to the question. What does it say? Do you know there is mark even for the Punnett square? After I've done my half for the answers, for whatever you are giving alleles there, I minus 5, then that is the whole of that marks will go for the Punnett square. That's how I do it. So the question says, what are the genotypes of... Look at how simple it is. Look at how simple it is. Very simple. Being that, now we've sorted it out, of course. What are the genotypes of the mother, father, and the child? The mother, heterozygous. The father, homozygous recessive. The child is homozygous recessive. Simple. So the Punnett square promised us when we were starting genetics, it is going to help us solve all the genetics problems. Yes, Grace Mayan, hey, I can see you. Please stay on board. You are welcome. We are proceeding. Just tell others who are not there by the time I was revising with MBCHB or medicine students to come on board, because we are not going to revise again. Since your exam is starting on 10th, it's a bit confusing, or it's a bit, we look a bit late. So we need to prepare well. So you need to have time to read. So that's what we are doing today. So just stay on board. You are most welcome. Let's proceed. And I hope you have the questions, because we're just going as per the questions which we sent. So I just read the question number. Then we'll be able to, I already mentioned how we need to tackle the questions. And if you have a question, just put on the charts. I'll be able to see, or something to clarify. I clarify as we proceed. It's only today. So don't get tired, you people, because when we are done, you can have the whole weekend. You keep on revising. As you go through the videos, you'll understand more. We have to pass. We are trying to simplify biochemistry. That is why the name of the channel is Biochemistry Simplified. We have to make it simple. And we are going to pass. So we have to plan well, and it shall be well. So question number 8 is already answered. And what I'm saying is, up there, kindly define the trait clearly. Thank you so much, Abdile. We will pass, of course. Thank you so much. We just need the support system. And we talk about positive things, not negative, and we shall make it. So up there, kindly mention for me the traits, especially this question, ability to curl the tongue. Somebody do not give me traits. Somebody do not give me alleles. No Punnett square. And then you come down there, you talk about capital T. You think I'm going to give marks, surely, even if you are the teacher. Yeah, you are wearing my shoe. No alleles. I told you genetics, we're talking about genes, the chromosomes. So if you don't have the alleles, then what are we discussing? We are not discussing anything. Kindly just mention trait, alleles. And some students are confusing alleles with genotypes. Somebody writes alleles of A capital small a, one line, A capital small a. I just cancel. I don't talk. Especially after I've explained it. Maybe the person was not there. Maybe the person was asleep when I was talking. Maybe I was so boring that they decided to listen to other things. Now when they see it in exams or in the cart, they're answering. But most of them were answering correctly because it found when you already discussed the previous day. But it's still okay. Time is not yet, the door is not closed yet. So we are going to question number 9. We are still on Mendelian genetics. And you can have a paper and a pen just to write down whatever I'm saying. So it talks about create a Punnett square For a cross between, I think this one is very easy, but we are going to discuss it. A cross between homozygous purple flower plant and homozygous white flower plant. That is not the end. What is the phenotypic and genotypic ratio of F1? But then they have to mention that purple dominant over white. So up there say flower color. And then alleles, capital P, purple, small p, white. It resembles the one which we had before, of course. But now it is a pure breed. It is going to give us all heterozygous. So the phenotypic ratio will be all alike because all of them will be heterozygous. It will be all alike, will be all purple. So the genotype, all alike, heterozygous. But then the phenotype, all alike, purple. Question number 10. He still talks about a test cross. Oh no. These are my questions. I don't know why the arrow is not moving easily so that I can see them. Why is it stuck? Let me see. Just a minute. A test cross of let me see. Yeah, my questions are a bit good. A test cross of homozygous dominant done on the F1s. Oh, it proceeds with question number 9. 10 is connected to 9. So since you add all heterozygous, meaning they are hybrids, for question 9, you are told to do a test cross. The person who was asking about test cross. We are keeping the genotypes to be represented in the next generation. They should be represented in F2s, in F3s, in F4s. So we are talking about the fitness value of 1. Those genotypes from the parental generations are represented in the next generation. So we are doing a test cross as well with homozygous recessive. So the question number 10, 11, no. Question number 10 relates to question number 9. So you do a test cross to generate the F2s using homozygous dominant, homozygous dominant. So it means the F2s will have 2 heterozygous and 2 homozygous dominant. So 2 out of 4, 2 out of 4. So it will be 50-50. 50 homozygous dominant, 50 heterozygous. So you are doing a test cross using homozygous dominant. Then you are asked, what is the phenotypic and genotypic ratios of F1? Genotypic ratios 2. Capital R, capital P, small p, 2 capital P. Meaning, if you talk about the phenotypic ratio, you know, the F2s, they will all appear purple. But the genotypes, you have to stress, the heterozygous and the homozygous dominant. Homozygous dominant and heterozygous, remember the dominant allele will be expressed in heterozygous state. So the phenotype will show all purple. A monohybrid cross on parental strains based on seed shape. Round, wrinkled. Up there, start. Seed shape. Alleles. Capital R, round. Small r, wrinkled. Go to the Punnett square. Even plants have males and female. There is a male part of a plant and a female part of a plant. So just write the male, female. Then listen to the question. They say, a trait generated F1, which one? Carriers for the trait. It means the parental generations are pure breed. Simple. You just do a cross of capital R, small r. The F1s will have all alike, all heterozygous. That's what they're saying. The other one, number 12, says, use a Punnett square to conduct a test cross of the F1s. Oh, it follows. It still continues from number 11. So we have all the round, but then they're all heterozygous, capital R, small r. Then you do a test cross of F1s with homozygous recessive, meaning you will have the F2s will be 2 out of 4 homozygous recessive, and then 2 out of 4 heterozygous. It means phenotypically you will have 2 of them appearing round, 2 appear wrinkled. State the genotypic and the phenotypic ratios of the F2. I've talked about the 2 capital R, small r, 2 small r, small r. Then the phenotypic ratio, you talk about 2 round, 2 wrinkled. So question number 13 and 12 are the thread of 11. Still on Mendelian, we are now on the critical ones, the diseases, X-linked. I threw it a little bit far. Let me go much up. X-linked. In a family, oh no. You know, scrolling it is a challenge for me. Good, I've got it right. We are at X-linked. In a family, father is hemophilic. Mother is a carrier. Remember, I'm saying they're X-linked. When you see a Mendelian disease, they're called single gene or Mendelian, which talks about X-linked. It is X-linked. Please put for me the sex chromosomes. I repeat. When you see a disease, you know those diseases, I had there was a table. There is a table. At the end of the autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, there is a table. I can pick any of the diseases from those tables. There is X-linked also, X-linked recessive, that diseases. So it is you to know whether it is X-linked related to the sex chromosomes or it relates with autosomes. So these ones are relating to the sex chromosomes. So on your Punnett square, you have to put XX for the woman, XY for the man, because they are X-linked. So it says, a family, father is hemophilic. Up there, put for me a trait, hemophilia. Put for me a trait. Which trait are we talking about? Hemophilia. Alleles. Students are making a mistake. If I talk about alleles, what I want is simple. Capital H, no hemophilia or not hemophilic. No hemophilia. Small h, hemophilic. I don't need XH and X small h. No, don't put X there. Put for me the alleles. We are talking about hemophilia, the disease itself. Put capital H. That is not hemophilia, because hemophilia is X-linked, recessive. The allele for the disease is recessive, but the disease is affecting the sex chromosomes. So it is X-linked recessive. put capital H, no hemophilia. Small h, hemophilic. Already you've scored marks. Go to the Punnett square. I need male and female. The male should have X, Y. Remember, Y is not touched. Y is very delicate. What touches Y brings about infertility. So you do XY for the male, XX for the female. But then the story says the man is hemophilic. Means you are going to write X small h up there, Y, that is the male. The male is hemophilic, X small h, then you have your Y. The female is what? Mother is a carrier. Do you know the female has 3 options? Are they 3? Yes. The female can be a carrier, the female can be affected, the female can be healthy. Because both X's are carrying the allele for the disease. Only in males, it's either affected or healthy. They don't have the option of being carriers. So in this case, the mother is a carrier. And if the mother is a carrier, we have capital H, small h. Let me do my crosses. We have a girl, and especially for the X-linked, I will ask you the gender which is affected. In autosomal, dominant and recessive, I don't stress on genders. I stress on the affected children, the unaffected children, the affected and the unaffected. But in sex-linked, I talk much about the gender. The first girl, by chance, we're talking about the law of segregation. By chance, the first girl will turn out to be a carrier. You know, in this case, you don't talk about carriers being healthy. You say it's either is a carrier, affected, or healthy. So we have a carrier girl, a healthy boy, an affected girl, and an affected boy. The question says, how many sons and daughters are infected? How many sons and daughters are infected? The infected ones are 1 daughter infected, 1 son infected, 1 daughter is a carrier, the other son is healthy. Yes. We have 1 daughter affected, which we talk about. How many sons? It means they talk about number. Sometimes they say the probability of the affected. That is percentage. So here, the sons who are affected, 1. The other son is healthy. 1 daughter is affected. The other one is a carrier. Number 15. A hemophilic family involves a man who is healthy. It is vice versa. Still trait there, hemophilia. Alleles, please don't put for me X small h, X capital H. No, put for me capital H without the excess. No hemophilia, small h, hemophilic. Come to the statement. They are saying now the man is healthy. Yes, it means X capital H up there and Y. And remember to put for me male and female. And then they're saying about the woman, and his wife is a carrier. The wife, X capital H, X small h. So we'll have the first girl healthy, the boy healthy, A girl carrier, a boy sick. Then they're asking, I'm looking at the question. Draw a Punnett square to show the F1s. So 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, they cover the same question. So 16, 17, 18, 19 to be answered by the question number 15. Draw a Punnett square to show the F1s. Imagine 2 marks, all 2 marks for the Punnett square. But if you don't put for me male and female, I minus 1. You will only have 1 mark if you don't put male and female. If you put male and female, I'll give you all the marks. They are saying again that state the gender and the number of kids who are healthy. Meaning, who do not have the allele for hemophilia. You don't count the carriers. Carriers are standalone. They are known as carriers. So they are saying, state the gender and the number of kids who are healthy. The gender, which is healthy. See, both male and female are healthy now. Both male, a girl and a boy, are healthy. The number of kids who are healthy, we have 2 who are healthy. From my Punnett square, I said you should also have a pen and a paper, because we have 2 healthy children, 1 boy, 1 girl. We have 1 carrier. We have 1 affected, who is a boy. Which gender is hemophilic? Male or a boy? We can talk about a boy. Is that one gender? Gender is either male or female. Male. So the gender and number of children who are carriers. The gender who is a carrier has to be a female now, because the Y do not carry anything, only if it's not there. The gender who is a carrier is a female, and how many? It's only 1. Simple. Question number 20. This one was in the cut, and this is where people were blundering. Somebody write for me X capital D, X small d. No, alleles write for me capital D. The trait is, the name could be very long, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. You can write DMD, but in the trait, write the full name. DMD, capital D. No DMD, small d. That is opposite. I want to see if you are active. Don't write that one. You know, it is also sex-linked recessive. Meaning, the small d is the allele for the disease. The capital D, no disease. So write small d, DMD, capital D, DMD what? Absent. Go to the Punnett square. The question says, this condition, this disease, the muscle become weaker over time. The gene is located on the X chromosome and is recessive. Imagine, I don't always give a lot of information the way I saw it in the card. You shall just know it is sex-linked, it is recessive. So you will go straight and smile. For somebody who knows what to write, they will go straight and put the X and Ys and the XXs. So those afflicted with the disease usually die at childhood. If a female, I'm proceeding, if a female is a carrier for DMD, is married to a healthy man, carrier for DMD, a female, meaning capital D, small d. Here, the male is healthy, capital D, Y. We will have a healthy girl by chance, Healthy boy by chance, carrier girl by chance, affected boy by chance. Yes, the Punnett square promised us. It's going to help us solve the problem. It says, what percentage of her sons what percentage of her sons will inherit the disease? 25%. What percentage of the daughters will inherit the disease? You know the reason why you cannot say 0. You cannot say 0 because we talked about heterozygous selection model where we just have to eliminate the heterozygous is when we are not going to pass it to the next generation. But as long as the allele for the small d is there, it is going to be passed. See, this daughter is going to get married to another man. Is it not passed or not? You see, the carrier one talks about the 25%. I know. When we were doing the revision before the cut, if it could be one of the questions which came along as we were revising, I might say it was 0%. But people make errors. But remember, the traces of the recessive allele are in the heterozygous. So you talk about 25%. If a man is colorblind, number 21. Oh, wait. Will this video be there after the live, madam? Yes, Musa, it will be there. It always gets saved in my YouTube. I don't even save it myself. YouTube will always save it. That's why I like YouTube. It is going to save it automatically. After 1 hour, even tomorrow morning, you'll see it there. What I have to do is I publish it as public. Then if you access my channel, the live ones, you'll be able to see it. So don't worry. It will be there. Even the one for the MBCHB is there. You can watch at your free time as you prepare for exams. It shall be well. So it's going to be available. Thank you. Keep on chatting. I'll be able to see. So number 21, we are almost closing the chapter of X-linked. If a man is colorblind, there was a reason why I was separating these questions under X-linked, under autosomal, so that when you see any of them, you'll click. In the questions which Madam had, they were separated under Hardy-Weinberg, they were separated under evolutionary forces, they were separated under autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive. So it's easy to recollect. You are welcome, Musa. So I'm saying that colorblind is also X-linked recessive. Colorblind. I want you to give me trait there for you to earn marks. Colorblind. Clearly. Alleles. Capital C, not colorblind. Small c, colorblind. Don't come with XC, X small c, X capital C in the alleles. Don't do that. I need the letters very well. Alleles, we are talking about the capital representing the dominant allele, recessive, the lowercase. Just put it clear with the letters. Don't stress yourself. Life is too short to get stressed. Capital C, not colorblind. Small c, colorblind. Go to the Punnett square. Male, female. XY, it is X-linked. XX. Let's go. The man is colorblind. The man is colorblind. X, small c, Y. The woman, they're saying the woman is what? This is the one which was saying the woman is healthy, meaning the woman should not even be carrier. The woman is capital C, meaning I'm going to have the first option is A girl who is a carrier. The other girl is also a carrier. A boy who is normal. You mean we have all the boys free from the disease? That is what it shows. All the boys are healthy. All the girls are carriers. The question says, percentage of the sons who are colorblind, 0%. 0. Remember, the mother is not a carrier. The mother is healthy. 0%. Punnett square, very promising. Autosomal dominant. These diseases affect the autosomes. You know, the autosomes are the ones which are responsible for the phenotypes, the traits, for the determination of sex or the sex chromosomes. So that's why the sex links I told you, put for me X, Y, and XX. In autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant, don't come in with X, Y, and XSS. No, don't. Stop. Don't do XY, don't do XX. Read it clearly. In autosomal dominant, the capital will carry the allele for the disease. If you look at achondroplasia or even neurofibromatosis, which we saw, imagine the allele for the disease is dominant. That is why it can clearly, the phenotype can clearly show. And we saw that variability in expressivity. The way they express themselves in individuals varies. And that's why we saw, you see that even progeria is one of the autosomal dominant disorders. This disease where a child is born, they look very old, older than their age. It is autosomal dominant. It is the Lord's doing. There is something you can't even avoid. But you can see the impact of the autosomal dominant being allele for the disease. The one where shows that the muscles do not develop. If you look at them, they look like pygmies, but they're not. Was it the achondroplasia? The one which I'm talking about, is it achondro? Yes, achondroplasia. The people, they appear pygmies. So I want you to have a picture of an allele, a dominant allele. If it's the allele for the disease, very disastrous. It will show. Osteogenesis imperfecta. You see those people where the bones of the legs, it's not even rickets, it's more than, they can't even walk. The allele for the disease is dominant. It is going to outride the allele for the healthiness, which is recessive. And that's why we mentioned in one of the characteristics that they are expressed in heterozygous states. Let's go back. A heterozygous male of achondroplasia mates with unaffected female. Using A, list the number of affected and unaffected children. Look at that. I don't stress on gender. I just say the affected children and the ones who are not affected. Only in X-linked, I stress on gender. So, go there and write for me trait achondroplasia. Alleles, capital A, achondroplasia. Small a, no achondroplasia. Just use your common English. You can't be good in maths and you be good in English. You can't be good in sciences and you be good in English. So even if the tense is not making sense, but we'll know what you mean. No achondroplasia, or achondroplasia present. But don't write for me. Imagine some people write for me present absent. What is present absent? No, I cancel. What is present absent? You are too tired even to describe your alleles, but you want marks. No, things will not come easy like that. You have to explain. I tell you, explain ourselves like bachelor students, like pharmacy students, like medicine students, like bachelors, degree, bachelor's degree. So you express yourself in a very organized way until somebody have to understand this one led to this. That's why we are starting with trait. Trait led to their alleles because the genes control that traits. But which are these genes? The alleles. Punnett square. You come to the question now, you answer. Very nice. So we are saying that heterozygous male. So just come and write up there, put for me male and female. Heterozygous male, capital A, small a, marries a woman who is healthy for achondroplasia, AA. So the first child by chance will come out achondroplastic. The other one will be a carrier, achondroplastic, a carrier. It means all the children will have achondroplasia because the heterozygous will be expressed. The dominant allele for achondroplasia will suppress the allele for the healthiness. The F1s will show that they are affected. So the equation says what? Number of affected and unaffected children. 0 unaffected, 4 affected. If they ask the genotypes, then you have to mention 2 capital A, stroke 2 capital A, small a, heterozygous and homozygous dominant. Autosomal recessive, we have 3 examples, no, 2 of them. Autosomal recessive, where the sickle cell anemia are, remember they are the largest class of the Mendelian disorders because most of them relate with metabolic pathways, defects in the enzymes which are involved in metabolism. So at that point, we're talking about the PKU. You could remember the PKU, the phenylketonuria, where the phenyl hydroxylase was involved. So at that point, you're talking about PKU. We have the galactosemia. You talk about the galactosemia. You remember well, entry of galactose into glycolysis, the role of the galactokinase, the role of uridyl transferase, the role of epimerase. Those 3 enzymes. If one is defective, it leads to the galactosemia, which is also a problem with the liver because there is a test to test how the liver is in good condition. If you talk about the carbohydrate metabolism, then galactose, release of galactose is one of them. So galactosemia is also related to autosomal recessive, but they don't express themselves in heterozygous. They only express themselves in homozygous recessive states. So let's look at the first example. A woman heterozygous for sickle cell anemia. Trait up there, sickle cell. Capital S, healthy or no sickle cell. Small s, sickle cell. You already got your marks for the alleles, for the traits. Come to the Punnett square, put male, female. We are saying that a woman heterozygous for sickle cell, capital S, small s. Then you are talking about mates with heterozygous male. So heterozygous male and heterozygous female will bring for us capital S, capital S, capital S, small s, capital S, small s, small s, small s. Meaning, the question says, list the number of affected and unaffected children. 1 affected, 3 unaffected. The law of dominance will take the day here. They are saying in heterozygous state, the autosomal dominant are going to be expressed. In homozygous recessive state, the autosomal recessive are going to be expressed. The allele for healthiness outstrides the allele for the disease. So the heterozygous will show that they are healthy. In other words, they are unaffected, asymptomatic. They don't show any symptoms. So the number of the ones who are affected is 1, 3, unaffected. Humans, cystic fibrosis is caused by a recessive allele on chromosome 7. Straight up there, cystic fibrosis. Capital C, no cystic fibrosis. Small c, cystic fibrosis present. Punnett square. We still have both carriers, because most parents have to be heterozygous. You can see both of the parents are heterozygous. What are the chances of the child having the disease? 25%. 25%. If you talk about chances, you talk about probability, we are talking about percentage. If both parents are heterozygous, the way we've seen in the previous example, then 25% they are affected. Single gene disorders, Mendelian disorders, just a bit to mention. Number 25, discuss any 2 Mendelian disorders, giving any 3 examples of the disease in each case. So there you know what to discuss. If you have any 2 Mendelian disorders, you can talk about the autosomal dominant, you can talk about the autosomal recessive, and then you give example. Autosomal recessive, now you know which one falls there. Autosomal dominant, you give a scenario of any of them. Then you have to write the characteristics as well of autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive. So that one is easy. Write short notes on Klinefelters. You know the Klinefelters? These are the individuals who are born males. But then there is a problem, because at the point of non-disjunction, there is an extra X chromosome. You know, X define match of a female. So they have characteristics of a female. Some of them have breasts, but not that protruded, but their breasts. We saw some of the characteristics. So they are born males, but then they have characteristics match of a female. Then there is Turner syndrome. They are born females because X is missing. Only one is there. X is missing. They should appear as a pair, but X is missing. So they have characteristics of a male, but those are related as, they are known as chromosomal disorders, because the mutation happens at the DNA level. So that's why we call them chromosomal disorders. So apart from that, you can also remember the Down syndrome at chromosome number 21. There is an extra one there. We also have the cri du chat, where the development of larynx is affected. So the child has a cat-like cry. You can also remember Wilson's syndrome. So there are several. So if somebody talks about the chromosomal disorders, remember, at the DNA level, there is a mutation. So you can discuss several of them. Dihybrid cross. I hope we are not tired, because if you have to be tired, I'm the first one to be tired, but we have to try. We have to try to remain active. We are almost finishing. But I'm saying we are at dihybrid cross. So the dihybrid cross, if I talk about one example, then it can apply to the others, just to save time. A gene controlling fin length, and the other one is controlling the fin color. You know where the dihybrid cross comes in? The Mendelian law of independent assortment. They're saying, as much as there are two genes, at the point of segregation, they independently assort. They don't depend on the other. Like the gene which controls shape, the gene which controls color. At the point of segregation, they don't rely on one another. They independently segregate. So we said dihybrid cross will explain much of that law of Mendel. Gene A controls fin length, right up there. Fin length. And then the way it is A, I need the A. Tell me capital A, short fin. Small a, long fin. Fin length. Describe the trait up there. Alleles under fin length. Come to fin color. Capital B, gray. Small b, lemon. You've earned marks. And I said, for the dihybrid, after the alleles, don't go straight to the Punnett square. Generate gametes. We are talking about fin length. That is the trait. Alleles, capital A, short, fin. Small a, long, fin. Another trait, because there are two genes. Fin color. Capital B, it's which one? Gray color. Small b, lemon color. Such that, I don't know whether it shows, but why does it show? No, it doesn't show. But when we are generating the gametes, capital A will go with capital B, then you will have capital A, capital B. Capital A will go with small b, you'll have capital A, small b. Small a will go with capital B, you'll have small a, capital B. Then small a, small b, we will have small a and small b. So gamete combinations, we will have those four. Remember, for you to know the number of gametes, it depends much on the number of heterozygotes. 2 to power n. N is the number of heterozygotes. So you will have 4 of gametes here, which I've just mentioned. After generating gametes, put them on a Punnett square. Put male, female. That is also what people were forgetting when I was marking the cut. I just subtract 1. One of them had 5 marks for the Punnett square. The first one, I think it was this one. And then the SY, the yellow and short, I don't know which one it was having 3 marks. So I just do minus, minus, minus 1, minus 1. If you don't write for me, male and female. So it's very important to include the male and female. After generating the gametes, imagine if you don't get the gametes right, you are not going to get the correct answer. After generating the gametes, put the Punnett square up there. If you go to the channel, I already posted that one as well. They were posted the same day with the genetic disorders. So after generating the Punnett square, remember the law of Mendel still says at the point of meiosis, at the point of recombination, the law of segregation is equally, the gametes are equally contributed by the parents. So they should have the gamete combinations, the male and the female. Then start filling the Punnett square. You will have a phenotypic ratio of 9331. 9 short gray, 3 short lemon, 3 tall gray, and then 1 tall lemon. Simple. So you have to still put the traits up there, mention the alleles, generate gametes, gamete combinations, very important. Go to the Punnett square. You'll get everything right. So even for these ones, I'll always stress on the letter to be used for uniformity, so that somebody do not come with the letter T, someone comes with letter S, somebody comes with letter C, and you wonder where. Question number 2 still says, in pigeons, a dominant allele C causes a checkered pattern in the feathers. Trait number 1, feather pattern, feather pattern. Then you come, you say, capital C, checkered pattern. Small c, plain pattern. The second gene or the second trait is feather color. Capital B, red color. Small b, brown color. What is difficult there? Generate the gametes. Go to the Punnett square. Put male, female. You will get a phenotypic ratio. 9, 3, 3, 1. The same will apply to number 4. That will be easy. Tall and whatever. So the dihybrid cross, just by giving one example, you'll be able to understand the other ones. I'm finishing with Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Calculations and calculations. It comes in the MCQs, it comes in the short answered, it comes in the essay, and you can't escape it. Hardy-Weinberg is everywhere. All those everywhere. We start with chi-squared fitness tests. You know, they cut on Thursday. The students told me that they want it on Thursday. And that Thursday, if Ricky is here or Ricky is not there, I think Fatima is still there, Adan was also still there, Grace was also still there. I want you to communicate to the class rep that the cut will start at 12:30. Because I have to rush and bring the report books for my children. I have to follow the academic report. You know, they're picking reports. She just told me that they're picking for my grade 5. They're picking on Thursday. If that is the day, because that is what she has told me. If it were not for that, then we'd have started it at 10. So let's start at 12:30. And the cut will be Hardy-Weinberg. Population genetics only for 50 marks. And I say, don't ask for somebody's calculator. Have your own. Even in exams, carry your own calculator. We are not going to pass calculators. Those are the ones which encourage cheating. They will exchange things on the calculator. Yes. And that is what we discourage more. So the chi-square fitness test, it always comes towards the last, because it is used much to test the evolutionary forces which might be present in our population. Remember, the Hardy-Weinberg says that we should keep the genotypic and allele frequency constant in each of the generation when some assumptions are met. The assumptions which you're talking much about is the mating should be random. There shouldn't be any selection. There shouldn't be migration. There shouldn't be mutation. There shouldn't be natural selection. And even gametes should be equally distributed. So if those conditions are kept constant, then the population is in equilibrium. So it talks still about the dominant and the recessive. But then we are talking about biallelic, two alleles, a degree of freedom of 1. So you talk about a statistical value of 3.84. If the value which you are going to calculate is above 3.84, reject the null hypothesis. And the null hypothesis says the population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So the chi-squared fitness test is used much to test if the population, there are some evolutionary forces working on our population. So we should listen keenly. If this question comes, how we need to answer it. That is how those genotypes are spread out. 40 homozygous dominant, 34 heterozygous, 1 homozygous recessive. Remember, they should add to what? Are they 60 what? 64 individuals. Are they 64? 40 plus 34? No, this is different. 40 plus 34 is 74. They should be 75. So the total number of people, we are at question 1, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, the chi-squared fitness test. The total number of people in that population is 75. That is how the genotypes are spread. So what we said first was, you have to get the genotypic frequency. That is very easy. You take 40 over 75, 34 over 75, 1 over 75 to get frequencies for each of the genotypes. The next thing is you have to calculate the allele frequency. The allele frequency, we are talking about P representing the dominant allele, Q representing the recessive allele, such that, I repeat, for you to get P, you take the value of P squared plus half heterozygous. For you to get Q, you take all the value of Q squared plus half heterozygous. Or, after finding the value of P minus 1, because the allele frequency should add to 1, just as genotypic frequency should also add to 1. After getting the allele and the genotypic frequencies, the formula of the Punnett of the chi-square test wants you to calculate the expected genotypic frequencies. Expected homozygous dominant, expected heterozygous, expected homozygous recessive. And expected is very simple. Just P squared. You already now have P, which you calculated. Do P squared times the total number of people in population. You'll get expected for homozygous dominant. Do 2PQ times 75. You'll get the expected for heterozygous. Same with homozygous recessive. Then, the final formula of chi-squared fitness test says observed minus expected squared over expected. Both for homozygous dominant, for heterozygous, and homozygous recessive. If that value you get is more than 3.84, reject the null hypothesis. Say the population is not in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. But if it is within that range, then you accept. But still, at the time you are rejecting, the null hypothesis. It means you have to look at the spread of the genotype for each of them. You know, it has to be a ratio of the genotypes 1 to 2 to 1. 1 homozygous dominant, 2 heterozygous, 1 homozygous recessive. So if you see one is more than the other, it means the evolutionary force is working on the population. And the most common example you can give is the selection. So it will apply for number 2. It will apply for number 3. And it will apply for number 4. What you need to do is you need to get the genotypic frequencies, which proceed to allele frequencies. And then at that point, you need to calculate the expected. And then now the final formula for chi-squared test. Multiple alleles. If you talk about multiple alleles, we are talking about the ABO blood group system. Now we have an allele for blood group A, another allele for blood group B, another allele for blood group O. And when you saw the gamete combinations, there were 6, where we have the 2PR, 2QR, 2RP. So at that point, from the statement which you have, we have to find the value of the genotypic frequencies and the allele frequencies. But you have to start with the allele frequencies. The question says, in a population of 800, total number of people are 800, 200 are A blood type, 25 are blood type B, calculate alleles and genotypic frequencies. It has to start from alleles. My friends, in this case, don't get confused. You know, blood group A will be represented by P. Blood group B will be represented by Q. O comes last by being represented by R. So, in this case, we are talking about blood group A, which is P. You take, where is it? You take 200 over 800, find the square root. Because at that point, you have P squared, but we want P. That is why we are looking at the square root. Take 200 over 800. Find the square root, you'll get P. You can't go straight and get Q and get R as well as Q, because you still need to do calculation of another allele so that you can find only the remaining 1 by subtracting from 1, which is the total of all the allele frequencies. So you go to the 25 for blood group B, which is Q, 25 over 800, and then find the square root. Whatever you'll get for A and B total, minus 1, you'll be able to get for R. That is how simple it is, or for blood group O. So you have to divide and find the square root. After finding the square root, then definitely for each of the 2 which you have been given, definitely subtract 1. You will get the allele frequencies for the remaining 1. After getting the allele frequencies, go to the genotypic frequencies, put P squared, Q squared, 2PR, 2QR, 2RP, and then Q squared. You'll be able to get the answer. They have to total to 1. Same applies to number 6. Find the square root first, because you need Q, you need P for you to get R. Assumptions, a bit of Hardy-Weinberg assumptions. Remember, we said the population should be large. In the case of small population size, you are talking straight about bottleneck and founder effect. I told you, if a question says discuss the effect or write short notes on the effect of small population size on Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, go straight and discuss bottleneck. Bottleneck is where a calamity comes and sweeps the whole generation. But then there are survivors. It could be the corona, we have the floods, they're swept. But for the survivors, there's somebody with an allele for a certain condition. So when the population grow new again, the new population will depend much on the alleles of the people who survived. Founder effect is different. Small group of people, small group of people move from a large population, go and settle somewhere, maybe in an island or somewhere else. But then they have to mate. So that's where inbreeding comes in. They will mate amongst themselves who are genetically related. So at that point, you'll be talking about inbreeding. We are talking about small population size, effect being on the founder effect, as well as the bottleneck. We'll explain much. So go straight and discuss the founder effect and the bottleneck. Write short notes on selection model where both homozygous dominant and recessive are selected against and heterozygous are selected for. I told you if you see such questions, explain much what happens in the system. The genotype which will be eliminated, the genotype which will survive is the one which is selected for. The one which is eliminated is selected against. So in this case, we are talking about removing the homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive at the expense of the middle. So we have a stabilizing selection type, and that one fits the sickle cell anemia. For the sickle cell anemia, you know very well. The people with the normal HB, the falciparum will not affect them or will not attack. The normal HB, the falciparum will attack, sorry. The ones with the deflated HB, falciparum will not attack. They will be suffering from anemia or any related disease in relation to the sickle cell. So the ones which will survive are the ones who are heterozygous. The homozygous dominant will die of malaria. The homozygous recessive will die of the related conditions for sickle cell. The ones which will survive or will be selected for will be heterozygous. So the sickle cell anemia fits that model. A model where heterozygous are selectively disadvantaged. They are selected against. That is the one which I talked about, the rhesus factor. The rhesus factor, if the mother, did the guy say the mother is negative and the child is positive? Whichever way, but the heterozygous, if the mother and the child's rhesus factor tend to be different, then the child dies. That is heterozygous disadvantaged. A model where homozygous dominant is selectively disadvantaged is the CCR5 gene. The 32 base pair deletion. The people who have these two genes of CCR5, the immunity for HIV will be strong, so they'll survive. The heterozygous can manage because they have partial immunity, since they have the traces of the recessive allele for the disease, which is virus. So at this point, the homozygous dominant will die. So that is why we are talking about homozygous dominant selectively disadvantaged model. First, explain the scenario. After explaining the scenario, give an example of the disease. Describe the disease well to fit the model. You will get all your marks. Inbreeding coefficient, inbreeding. One of the evolutionary forces. Inbreeding occurs when members mate with people who are genetically related. So for us to calculate the inbreed, this one also can't miss. At this point is where people don't concentrate. And then at that point, when I bring it, boom, oh, madam, We didn't even know that it was there. It was there. For you to calculate the inbreeding coefficient, remember I said inbreeding, as much as people are mating the ones who are genetically related, inbreeding increases homozygosity. So we have to calculate using the inbreeding coefficient to see if a population is inbred or not. And I said, if the inbreeding coefficient is more than 0.5, the population is inbred. If the inbreeding coefficient is less than 0.5, the population is not inbred. And still, at the time you are going to calculate the inbreeding coefficient F, you still have to start with the same formula by calculating the genotypic frequencies, allele frequencies, but then you are going to select out the 2PQ, the heterozygous, because you have to calculate the expected heterozygous, such that you can have your formula as 1 minus observed over expected. So you do observed, which is given in the raw data, over expected, which you've calculated. Then you subtract with 1. If the value of F is greater than 0.5, say the population is inbred. For all those examples, the same. Apply the same. The last bit, even people are tired. We are just human beings. And we had a day with the lectures, so it's allowed. It's allowed. But I'm finishing the last bit by giving 2 examples, and then we'll stop. Calculating the heterozygous. Very important, because the traces with the alleles for the diseases lies with the heterozygous. So we have to know the number of individuals who will be coming in the next generation, how many will carry the allele for the disease. So it's always good for genetic counseling, for the couples who are yet to get married, for the couples who have been married. So there is a genetic condition maybe which the family members have. It is good for genetic counseling. So by example, we are saying the ability to test phenylthiocarbide, I think that's the name, is due to the single dominant allele capital T. Trait there, you are testing PTC testing. Capital T, testers. Small t, non-testers. But then, the story goes that you are sampling 215 in a population. 138 could test, they could detect the beta test. 77 could not. We are not interested in the 138. We are interested in the ones who could not test. So if they could not test, then take 77 over 215, find the square root, because that is Q squared. We need Q. Take the 77, the ones who cannot. The ones who have passed, we don't have any problem. We are interested in the ones who have failed. That is another question there. I'm going to stress on it. You are trying to look at the number of the people who cannot test. 77 over the total number 215, find the square root. You'll remain with Q. 1 minus Q, or Q minus from 1, you'll get P. Then, after that, the question will follow. Whether you'll ask the genotypes, whether you'll ask the number of heterozygous who survive, the number of, you'll be able to answer. The question which I was talking much about is this one, where a test was done. There are 100 students in a class. Question number 18. 96 did well. We are not interested in 96. We are interested in the 4% who did not do well. So it says 96 did well in the course, whereas 4 blew it totally. and received a grade F. Sorry. In the highly unlikely event that these traits are genetic, you know, if you talk about multifactorial or some of the factors which contribute to the genetic diseases, we have environmental also contributing. So they are saying if they are not environmental and they're genetic, they are inherited. Where am I? If these traits are genetic rather than environment, these traits involve dominant and recessive alleles. And if the 4% represent the frequency for homozygous recessive, frequency Q squared, do Q squared equals to 4 over 100. Find the square root, you'll get Q. Then proceed and find P. Then be ready to answer any of the questions. So in heterozygous, after reading it, you'll know. Find the square root. You'll remain with Q, the recessive allele, minus 1. You'll get the dominant allele. Then all the equations can follow. If it's probability, it is percentage. If it's ratio, it's ratio. If it's the number of students, it's the number of students. So let us be precise on how we answer. I've tried. I've not answered all of the heterozygous, but I've given example. It applies to all because time has already moved. And people, I don't think that people are getting. People are already tired. So we'll stop. And this video is going to be saved. It's going to be saved on YouTube. By tomorrow, you'll be able to see it. I'm just going to change some settings by putting it to public so that the students can access it publicly on the channel. So may I say thank you. The 2022, the 2023 September regular, the 2022 September, I appreciate weekend. I appreciate the efforts which we put. I know it will bear fruits. Nothing goes, none of the prayers go unanswered. None of the efforts go unpaid. If you put an effort, at last, it will pay back. Only if you don't. You know, you can't sit there without even planting and then you expect the rain to rain for you to harvest. You're not going to harvest anything. But for the efforts we've been putting from the first week to now almost the last week will pay off. At the time you do exams, the time you receive the results, the university is the best place to be. So I might say good night and thank you so much. And may God bless. So we can talk later at the time we are doing the cut to see what to finalize in. But kindly tell the group regular September 2023 we'll have the cut on Thursday at 12. Oh no, our Muslim brothers still have to go and pray. Should it be at 12 sharp? 12 sharp, so that we can finish at 1. Because they're the ones who are making us to extend. We were supposed to do it on Tuesday, but they said they might be still having the hangover of opening the what? The iftar. Yes. So we give them time. Thursday will be fine. So we can meet later. We'll be able to discuss. Thank you so much. And God bless.